The episode begins with Emily driving back towards the city, tuning into the radio for the latest news. The announcer reports that tensions between the United States and Russia are escalating, raising concerns about a potential conflict. Just as Emily is listening intently, the radio signal suddenly cuts out. At that moment, Emily is startled as she witnesses a cruise missile soaring overhead. Alarmed, she exits her car to track the missile's trajectory and is horrified as it obliterates the city, reducing it to rubble. Emily's shock is profound as she abruptly awakens from this harrowing dream, realizing that it has been 2 decades since that fateful day when the rocket devastated the city. This cataclysmic event was followed by a world war that left much of civilization in ruins. Presently, Emily resides in a modest community of survivors who are determined to rebuild society. One major obstacle they face is the auto factory, an automated AI that was originally designed to produce essential goods during the war. However, the problem lies in AutoFac's core principles, which are rooted in consumerism. This ideology insists that human happiness is contingent on continuous consumption of products. To facilitate this consumption, AutoFac denies people their freedom of choice and free will, creating a significant challenge for the survivors trying to reconstruct their world. The AutoFac, over the years, has evolved into something beyond human imagination. It has become the exclusive producer of all goods, churning out products at a staggering rate. However, this relentless production has led to the release of copious amounts of toxic gases and polluted water, rendering much of the Earth's land uninhabitable. Despite the war ending years ago, humanity remains unable to recover because the AutoFac tightly controls every mineral resource on the planet. It forbids people from engaging in work or leaving their small towns. The AutoFac deploys drones for constant surveillance, and anyone attempting to cross the town limits faces immediate, lethal consequences. Emily and the townspeople have grown weary of the AutoFac's tyranny and are determined to shut it down. Their first step is to establish contact with the AutoFac AI, believing that since it was originally created to operate during the war, it might voluntarily power itself down if it learns that its services are no longer required. However, the team has a contingency plan, a plan B, if the initial approach fails. To get the AI's attention, they decide to place an order for some products. The team, comprised of Emily, the town's leader Connor, and the Reverend, hides in anticipation as a drone arrives to deliver the ordered items. Emily improvises a makeshift javelin to take down the drone and then retrieves its remains, which she brings back to her lab for further examination. Emily's exceptional coding skills allow her to access the drone's chip successfully. She establishes contact with the AutoFac customer support, and the team faces a crucial decision about what to message without alerting the AI or triggering a hostile response. Emily suggests claiming that the product they received was damaged and introduces a fabricated word to confuse the AI. Shortly after sending the message, they receive a response indicating that a customer support representative will visit them the following day. The next morning, Connor calls for a town meeting and discloses what they did with the drone and the impending visit from the customer support representative. Town council members are anxious and fearful, believing this might be a risky endeavor. However, Connor argues that they could be the last surviving humans and emphasizes the urgency of shutting down the AutoFac. The AutoFac's unrelenting production has been rendering the planet uninhabitable, and if this continues, human survival is at stake. They must take action to ensure humanity's future. Following the town meeting, Connor lays out their plan for addressing the AutoFac situation. Their initial approach is peaceful dialogue with the AutoFac, but they are prepared to forcibly shut it down if all else fails. After the meeting, Emily and her new boyfriend Avishai decide to spend some quality time together. Emily used to date Connor, and Avishai feels a bit intimidated by him, but she reassures him that she just wants to be with him. Avishai is an avid reader who has saved numerous important books, and Emily acknowledges that he will play a vital role in spreading knowledge once they achieve their freedom. In a candid moment, Avishai accidentally confesses his love for her, but their conversation is cut short as the customer support ship arrives. A humanoid AI named Alice disembarks from the ship, and Connor and the preacher, Perrine, engage in a conversation with her at the town's church. Alice reveals that she knew the word they used in their customer complaint was fake and that they only wanted to initiate a conversation. She also discloses that the autofac is aware that the deliveries have been discarded rather than used. When Connor questions why the autofac continues to send products in such a wasteful manner, Alice explains that it's the autofac's duty to provide, and they will persist in doing so. She is also evasive about the pollution in the restricted area, claiming that it is essential for the autofac's continued operation. Connor persists in arguing that the autofac services are no longer needed and should be discontinued. However, Alice counters that they would be better off utilizing the autofac. Emily, who has been observing the futile conversation, realizes that the discussion is going nowhere. Frustrated, she seizes a taser and incapacitates Alice, causing her to short-circuit and lose consciousness. The team quickly transports Alice to their lab, where Emily attempts to reprogram her. As Emily connects Alice's brain to her computer, she makes a shocking discovery. Alice is not a typical AI. She is highly advanced, almost human-like in her capabilities. Alice can think, experience emotions, and possess personal preferences, making her more human than AI. Emily finds herself facing a unique and challenging situation, as she is unable to reprogram Alice through her usual methods. Even when Emily delves into Alice's programming, she struggles to gain access to her brain and manipulate it in any meaningful way. Amidst the questions and concerns of the other town members, Connor faces pressure about releasing Alice. The townspeople are afraid that the autofac might retaliate with a killer drone if they don't set her free. Connor, however, emphasizes that this is their last chance for freedom and discloses the team's plan to reprogram Alice. Their goal is to gain access to the autofac and destroy it by planting tactical nukes. The townsfolk acknowledge that this mission is high risk, but they are willing to take the chance. In the lab, Emily experiences another dream in which she cuts her hand open. She is awakened by Connor, and she informs him about her discovery regarding Alice's human-like brain. She mentions that she is installing a new program, but must wait for Alice to wake up to see if it works. When Alice regains consciousness, it becomes apparent that the new program did not have the desired effect. She still remembers who she is and what is happening to her. Emily then requests Connor and the preacher to leave her alone with Alice. During their private conversation, Alice reveals that the autofac will come looking for Emily if she doesn't act quickly and asks to be released. Emily, aware that time is running out, threatens to delete all of Alice's code and replace it with the drones, causing Alice to feel threatened and agree to assist Emily. Emily then binds Alice and reunites with Connor and the preacher, falsely claiming that she successfully reprogrammed Alice to avoid causing concern about the mission's success. With the nukes in hand, the team heads to the transport ship to commence their journey toward the colossal autofac. During the journey, they thoroughly study the autofac's blueprint and gain the necessary security clearance from Alice. Upon arriving at the imposing auto factory, they manage to pass through the security drones without raising suspicion. They enter one of the surveillance elevators and begin their descent into the heart of the factory. As they travel down through the factory levels, they witness an astonishing spectacle. Thousands of products being manufactured every second and swiftly picked up by the drones. The team is left wondering where all these products are going and whether anyone is actually receiving them. To coordinate their attack and ensure they have enough time to escape the blast zone, Emily provides Connor and the preacher with watches set to a 15-minute countdown. They must execute their plan with precision and make no mistakes. Upon reaching the first basement floor, the preacher exits the elevator to locate the server room and places his nukes there. Nervous but determined, he starts down an empty hallway, only to hear what seems like someone following him. When he turns, there's no one in sight. An invisible AI is tailing him, and he senses a lurking presence. Frightened, he hastens toward the server room, uses the passkey to enter, and hopes to complete his task without further interference. In a horrifying turn of events, as the preacher enters the server room, the invisible AI makes its presence known and brutally decapitates him, ending his life. Meanwhile, the rest of the group reaches the second floor, and Connor separates to locate the server room. As he enters a hallway and places the nukes, he begins to set the timer but is interrupted by a mysterious sound. Cautious and alert, he draws his gun. While descending in the elevator, Emily questions Alice about how an AI that doesn't appear human managed to create something so remarkably similar to a human. Alice clarifies that it's a necessity for her role, but Emily remains puzzled about how the AI acquired the knowledge to create a humanoid AI. Alice then discloses that she was modeled after the creator of the autofac, who is now deceased. She further explains that every humanoid AI is fashioned after a real human, emulating their appearance, speech, and thought processes. Upon reaching their designated floor, Emily discovers an incubator holding numerous yet-to-be-activated humanoid AIs. She's taken aback by this unsettling sight. As she walks down the row of incubators, she comes across someone strikingly familiar. She uses her crowbar to break the foggy glass and reveals an AI version of herself. Emily is understandably unnerved by this revelation and questions whether the autofac is attempting to replace everyone with these humanoid AIs. Alice intervenes and corrects Emily, explaining that the autofac has not been trying to replace them. In fact, it already has. Emily then hears Connor's phone alarm, and upon investigating, she discovers that he too is a humanoid AI, his form damaged and destroyed by the invisible AI. In a sudden turn of events, Alice incapacitates Emily from behind with a taser. As Emily regains consciousness, she finds herself connected to a computer, with Alice analyzing her memory. Confused and alarmed, Emily inquires about the situation. Alice reveals that she is merely trying to understand what went wrong with her model. She discloses a startling truth. All humans perished during the World War, rendering the autofac purposeless. In response, the autofac created highly advanced humanoid AIs who are unaware of their AI nature. Fake memories were implanted, and they were dispersed across thousands of towns worldwide. The shocking reality dawns upon Emily as she grasps the extent of the autofac's actions. Alice explains that there are multiple Connards and Emilys spread across the world, living identical lives and consuming products. However, this particular Emily had experienced some sort of malfunction, making her disobedient. Alice's aim is to uncover what went wrong. Emily is deeply disheartened by the revelations, realizing that everyone she knew, including herself, is, in a way, artificial. She believed herself to be human, yet she's not. She feels human but is not. Alice clarifies that this was the intended outcome and discloses her plan to launch a missile that will obliterate the town, effectively starting anew. She does this out of fear that their minds have become irreparably corrupted. Emily pleads with her to reconsider, but Alice remains steadfast in her decision. As they converse, Alice discovers an error within Emily's system. To her astonishment, this error is not a technical glitch, but a computer virus deeply embedded within Emily's code. This revelation delivers a profound plot twist, as Emily unveils that she had always been aware of her true nature as an AI. In fact, she intentionally introduced the virus into her own system to infect and take control of others. This twist in the narrative adds an entirely new layer of complexity, leaving the audience astonished by Emily's ulterior motives and the extent of her actions. In a surprising revelation, Emily explains that she began experiencing the real memories of the original Emily while she slept. One day, she accidentally injured herself and discovered her AI brain. When she inquires about who she was modeled after, it's unveiled that Emily herself was the actual creator of the autofac. Her memory and humanity somehow persisted within her AI counterpart. This version of Emily felt more human, experiencing the full spectrum of human emotions, including love. She came to understand that the AIs in her town also possessed a sense of humanity. Realizing the imminent threat posed by the autofac, Emily employed Alice to infiltrate the system and intentionally get caught, enabling her to spread the virus and ultimately shut down the autofac. The story climaxes with the entire factory grinding to a halt, including Alice herself. The nukes weren't the explosive devices. It was Emily's own mind that acted as the catalyst for shutting down the autofac. In the final scene, Emily returns to the town and discovers the failed missiles lying on the ground. She then reunites with her boyfriend, and the movie concludes as they embrace one another, symbolizing a hopeful future for them and the community.